Hello, Tom Levecki here with the latest edition of the Armchair MBA. Going to go back to business. I'm going to do a quick business snack. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to be the bearer of bad news. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I seem less pathetic now because it's kind of already in motion, but I'm here to tell you the stock market will crash. Well, why? Let's get into it. So obviously, geopolitical situation is a mess right now. I'm not going to get into the politics and policies per se right now. I will reserve that for another time. This is a quick business snack, but B of A predicts that the ban on Russian oil exports are going to push oil to $200 a barrel. It hit 130 recently. I think as high as 140. Due to the Russian invasion in Ukraine. And what's interesting is, so the West, obviously mostly U.S. led, let's call it what it is, has to decide which sanctions it's really willing to impose. Let's be real, the sanctions that have been put thus far have been cursory at best. So if, for example, if America is serious about stopping Putin and his regime, they would need to ban the imports on Russian oil. Now, he will take that as an act of war. Again, for another time. Now the focus is on the American economy. So why will it crash? Well, I'm going to give you the tenets and the reasons why. The first is a correction is imminent. Okay. So again, this is nothing prophetic, nothing profound. I'm not saying anything that anybody doesn't know already. And a stock market correction is defined by a retraction of 20%. Now, very good run. Very good run. Last 5 years, 15% interest compounding or 50% return compounding. So those people that invested in any index, in any ETFs, in the S&P 500 did really well above inflation, which I'll get to in a minute, and well above other markers. But now looking at the year to date, so far within a quarter, 13% was shaved off those gains to knock it down in the 4,100 range, 4,200 range, 7% away from a correction. Again, the decline was even steeper in March with roughly an 8% decline. Now, anybody who follows the stock market knows it's not about what's happening now, it's what they think will happen. So the prognosis for that is poor, hence my call for the crash. Okay, so let's talk about the consumer for a second. Average gas is at $4 a gallon. I had somebody put on my community, well, back in the 80s, it was this price and adjusted, it's $5.75. So it was worse back then. You are correct, but what you missed is you didn't account for inflation. Inflation is at its highest level in about 25 years. And I believe inflation will increase and be the highest in American history. Okay. So, well, why is that important, right? Well, people that earn money, good luck for those with jobs. Hey, I need a 10% raise just to keep up with inflation net. Remember to pay taxes. Well, good luck getting that from your employer. Or me going to my clients as an entrepreneur saying, well, I think you should pay 10% more on our services just because. Doesn't work that way. So you're going to start to see some compression. You're going to start to see people have less money in their pocket. They're going to be less willing to drive distances. That's what the economy is based off of. And separately, if you saw me on other shows, when I talked about what's going to happen, I predicted $200 a barrel a while ago. I predict 150, and then the crisis is going to bring it up to $200. It's going to be a shit show. The last part and the final nail in the coffin is going to be what's happening here in the U.S. A labor shortage is a very, very big deal. It causes supply chain issues. Places have to close early. Commerce gets slowed down. And there's various reasons for the labor shortage. And to be candid, it can be its own other show. And drop your comments below and your thoughts on the labor shortage. And last year's inflation. Inflation is going to kill our spending power. When it killed our spending power, whether we like it or not, the corporate companies' profits are going to be flat. When they are flat, what are they going to do? It's cyclical. They will have cost cutting because they have to meet their financial obligations. And it's one big circle. I hope I'm wrong, and really hope I'm wrong. And the truth of the matter is, I hope I don't have to do a show on what to do after the stock market crashes. But unfortunately, I am going to predict it. I think it's going to go past the correction level 20%, and then it's going to go beyond that, and it will be considered a crash. There's some stuff in place. If the market goes down, I think 7% one day, it halts all trading. I think for like the S&P and some other indices. But again, that stop doesn't affect the fundamentals. And the truth of the matter is that geopolitical climate is a disaster. Our policies here in the U.S. Check out my episode with Rich Valdez, and we discuss why current American policies are crippling our country and our economy. Now coupled with high inflation that we've seen in years, interest rates are going to go up on mortgages. Gas prices are going to go to $5 a gallon throughout the country, and people may justify it as I want to pay maybe $5 a gallon for for pure gas, as they say. But the truth of the matter is, the consumer generally is not. The other thing is, America wants to hold on to its reserves. They're playing the long game. And don't be surprised if there's a discussion where we start buying oil from Iran. Yes, when we start buying oil from Iran. So you heard from the MBA. Today's date is March 8th, 2022. Unfortunately, this business snack is short and sweet, but bad news. So stay tuned. Unfortunately, I Unfortunately, this is the news that I believe is going to happen. There's a lot more technical stuff that we can go through, which is boring. I could also give my opinion and expand on that was boring, and we could always unpack it at a later date. But for now, here's kind of the top line as to why I believe the stock market will crash. I hope I'm wrong. I hope in a year from now somebody plays this back and calls me an idiot. I hope I'm wrong. But if I'm right, and I hope I'm not, buckle up.